Well, let's get started here with Vijayanagara. And the first thing is we deal with the event card. Okay? So, the first person to get a choice is the Bahmani. Governors repeatedly assert influence. Place up to 2 emirs or rajas in both Jaunpur and Bengal, and remove a tributary marker in one of them. It's way up here. Do I just want to do this? That would be my event. It wouldn't build me up at all. It would immediately create an issue. My other options are I can do a command and a decree. What would my options be there? Decree could get me some buckies, but that's not... it's not bad. It just needs a piece. What would a command do? I don't know. Why don't we just do the event? It sounds cool. Okay. And I can't read it. Place up to 2 emirs or rajas in both Jaunpur and Bengal, and remove a tributary marker in one of them. Sure. In both. Okay. Remove a tributary in one of them. I could get control of this. Do I want control? Or I could just take this away and there'd be no control. If I have control, I'm rebelling, which makes me kind of vulnerable. On the other hand, a governor could move in and get rid of me relatively easily if I'm not holding control. I think I will just take this away. And that takes a point away from him. Right then. Okay. Second player is the Delhi. And they can play, well, the event has been played. I'm not allowed to do that now. Should put this here. Command and decree. Okay. I could conscript. I don't have a lot of governors. How do I get more? I get more through the govern action. That seems like a good idea. Now, I could just do a limited command and say, I want the next event. Is there something in decree I would want? Getting lots of money might be cool. Half my money, rounded down, plus some cav. That would be $8, which would put me up to 20. Yeah, I think I'm going to command and decree. I can do them in either order. I'll collect the tribute first, which gets me that $8 and 2 horses. Gotta love that. And then let's look at the command, because now we have a lot of money. Governing seems like the thing I want to do. It's only $1 per. One. Two. I got 4. 1, 2. Three. What am I allowed to do if I have a governor? I could put a Casbah here, but 1, 2, 3. 4. I'll spend 4 resources. And again, I'm kind of blundering around, right? And I'll put a governor in each of these spaces. And we'll see how that works. All right, that dumps us on the Vijayanagara, which can't really do much. I could grab a buck, or I could do a limited command. What's a limited command do? You get a Raja, or I could get Rajas, migrate, or attack. Well, what lets me build temples? That's over here in decrees. Okay. I'll do a limited command. And I will... Karnataka is my best place. I could pay a buck and get 2 Rajas. I guess. I don't know. I don't have a lot of options right now. Okay. We look here. It's not a succession. It's not a Triumvirate Empire. Why does this say sequence of play? I don't know. Because it's really not the sequence of play. The sequence of play is not there. We're just, I'm pretty sure it's just manipulate these, draw the next card. Yeah, they write it the same damn way, don't they? And they do not give, it really isn't a sequence of play. Well, it is. Reset eligibility. There we go. It's sequence of play dependent on the card. So all 4 cards have their own sequence. So after all eligible factions, if you're ineligible or collected otherwise, you become eligible. These go into ineligible. Only 1 player gets to play next turn. And we get a sequence like this. Bari Gaza Toph. This stays eligible. Gigantic cannons defend the Bahmani forts. Well, I don't want to do that. Gunpowder and cannons appear suddenly in the subcontinent. Execute a free limited attack. The defender rolls no dice. The attacker rolls 4 dice, even if a fort is present. I could conceivably make an attack here. That would put me in rebellion. I might or might not gain control. Take a look at attack. How does the tributary end? It doesn't. So even if I attack, I'm not going to get an advantage on the tributary. Remember, these cards are shuffled in to a large extent. Like whatever can be put in place. This could be at the very bottom of the deck. So these are all very, very scrambled. There's no time issue on it. So I'm not expecting to see things, and this feels a little weird, I'm not expecting to see things that should be early in the period necessarily. I would like to get my influence up, I think. Maybe. That's a compel. which would allow me, no, migrate. I can move up to 3 Rajahs. Did I pay my point for the... I did a limited command, right? To put these in. Did I pay $1 for that? Yes. Okay. I would like to tax, but that doesn't give me anything. So I need to build a temple. Okay. And what does that mean? I could do a limited command instead, which would allow me to migrate. I could migrate up into here. Looks kind of dangerous. And I could be attacked very easily by that. That doesn't sound great. Trying to decide how to build up my my situation. Way down here looks kind of safer. What if I spend 1 to do a migrate into there, and then do a build? Well, I could spend 1, do a limited command. I don't feel like I have a whole hell of a lot that I want to do. I would love to build the temples. What do the temples help me with? They help me in attacking. They give me another piece. They give me a tax base, which I don't have right now. I have no access to resources. This is a problem. I need to control areas to get a resource. This will not give me any control. So I will spend 1 to move into here, and then another 1 to gain no, wrong type of piece. Let's get those $bucks back. If I move up into here, now I'm in danger if I do that. What do these little towns do? I think they're only impacted by cities referred to name points which lie on the certain vertices. A Delhi is not a city. Cities are not spaces. No pieces can put on them. Some are referenced in event cards. That's all. Adjacency, any border including a vertex. So I could conceivably move from here up to there. I don't particularly want to do that. Trying to think what I do want to do. I could just take money. There's one way to get cash. I would like to get Deccan influence, I think. All right. I will spend my 1 here. I'm regretting this because this makes me available to be attacked. And then I can shift influence by 1. He doesn't have any influence, but I do, and I get to this. Now, I don't know, I think those pieces get sucked back in if I fall back. I'm not sure. I paid my $bucks, I did my thing, everybody goes back, and we get a new card. And that new card Everybody's available to play, and I'll be last. Malik Kafur, stay eligible. General assassinated. Move all governors in the map to provinces adjacent to Delhi. This is a powerful play that probably Delhi doesn't want to have happen. And since I get to go first, I can avoid this. Favored slave general brilliant in battle. He selects one space from which it moves 8 of its units from any update from anywhere on the map, flips any units to rebelling, and attacks for free. Interesting. Let me consider that. And I'm out of battery, or running out. So I'll swap and I will consider what I want to do. I think what I want to do is trigger that event so that I avoid anyone else getting it. This is a stay eligible event, so if I don't take a command, I'll go back and be able to play the next event if it's necessary. What I like about this, and honestly, the coin games as well, and maybe to other extent, like Here I Stand, other things that are similar to it. There's a very, very opportunistic way to just play these, where, you know, something comes up and you're like, it helps form your decisions making, so you don't really have to have a strategy to begin with. One can start forming as you play and get used to the system, but the game gives you enough space to fuck around, kind of learn the design, and learn what works and what doesn't. And I find that very appealing compared to games which, if you don't go in and know exactly what you're doing, A, B, C, D, you're pretty much losing the game. If you don't have a core strategy. So for this, I will play this card for the command, flipping myself over. Selects one space into which I move up to 8 of my units from anywhere on the map, flip any units to rebelling, and attack for free. All right. Well, I don't know. Something like Karnataka and Maharashtra are hard for me to take because, or hard for me to hold, because these are sort of the home areas. But if I could kind of blitz one of those, that might not be such a terrible thing. Who do I feel's in a better shape right now? Oh. But certainly getting a bunch of pieces. Now, I could also blast Mongols if they were here, but they're not. I can't go into their box and blow them out of the water. Up to 8 of my pieces. This seems like a really useful place to go to, because I have a Kasbah there. So up to 8. Put all these in here. It's probably more than I want to. Yeah. Flip the units to rebelling. I'll flip these to rebelling. I attack for free. That's cool. Gives me 4 dice. The defender's going to have 2 dice. I've got Cav. He doesn't. Alright. I'd rather not take a hit, so I'm going to screen this. Get rid of that. I got 2 hits, both below the amount of troops that I have easily. So these go back. Attack. I didn't attack the Bahmani. Oh, that wouldn't matter. Any special effects for attack for me? Sounds good. Now I've got a huge force here, but again, we'll see how this works. The cav goes away. I used one up. Blue is next. Blue could do a command and decree if they so wish. It's always hard to decide. You know, it's like looking at a menu, man. So the thing I want to be able to do is I want to be able to increase my Deccan capability, which move up to 3 emirs from an adjacent province. See, it doesn't really help us if we keep struggling over the Deccan influence. That's not a good thing. We're just making Delhi's life easy if that's what we do. However, I really want my trade to go up, right? So if I do a migrate, I could shift influence against him and get the trade advantage. Now, we need to look at the Deccan influence. How this works. Whenever a faction's influence decreases, that faction must place them back. Yep. From either holding or anywhere on the map, yeah. So, I could just do a limited command. Do I really want to do a decree? Well, with trade, I would get a couple of cav. That's kind of nice. I would be getting tax, wrong player, trade, gain money equal to the number of provinces with my pieces in them, which is quite a bit right now. So I think I want to do the command and decree. How many commands do I want to do? I'll do a migrate there. I really like the idea of spreading out. That's going to give me more cash if I do this combination. 2, 3. Let's take it from here. This will take from here. I don't know how many I want to take out of there. Okay, I think that's it. So I think I spent 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'll move like this. I'll move like that. I don't want to do that. I'll move like that. That changes control. Not tributary, just control, but he has the capability to make it a tributary now. Just going to move a couple into here. I'm just trying to see, is there somewhere else I want to go? Do I want to slip in here with one? Might as well. Yeah, there's a governor there. That's risky, to say the least. Let's leave that one alone. Well, I would have had to pay another buck for that. Okay, that was my migrate, but I went into a province with yellows, so I can spend another buck to take this away from him and move up here, and now I trigger trade. And trade is going to be the number of provinces with my pieces in it. Oh, just number of provinces, not the value of them. That's interesting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gives me a pile of resources, and I get 2 cav from the pool, which will make me a little bit better if I'm the one who gets attacked by Delhi. Okay, I'm going to be going inactive. Vijayanagara gets to make a choice. I could do a limited campaign, or I could just take a buck. What is valuable for a limited campaign? For a buck, I could get a bunch of pieces here, which might not be a bad choice. I'll do that. What do I get? I get 1 Raja plus 1 for Karnataka, and that's it. 2 Rajas? Is that worth it? Or do I want a buck? I'll take 2 Rajas. I lost a bunch. Whatever. Our next card is a Mongol invasion. Turkic alliances offered to blue. Strategic assistant. They must carry out 2 Mongol commands. Compromising gifts. I don't know what this is. Somewhere or another, we have a little card that tells us what that means. Bahmani influence. That's what I would have guessed. If it's 1 or more, I may lose an influence for 2 bucks and 2 cav. That sounds shitty. But I get to carry out 2 Mongol commands. Let's do that now. Mongol commands. I amass 3 Mongol into mountain passes. That's the first action. I could attack and plunder and hurt them by some money, but I think I'd rather amass again. And now we're beyond 4, so we start leaking into Punjab. And that's that. And we are not going to take advantage of the compromising gifts. You can see, now I shuffled. I don't know if this was here before, but there's like a little scratch on the card. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Again, these are really, really vulnerable to that for some reason. The next one. Another Mongol invasion, this one favoring the Vijayanagara. Strategic assistant, they get to do the 2. Compromising gifts. If they have at least some influence, they can spend it for stuff. Might be more interesting to them because they don't have an easy way to get horses, unlike the Bahmani, but I also have no influence. What do I want to do? I will do 1 amass. Sends 3 here, sends 3 here, sends 1 here. And I think I will attack and plunder in the mountain passes. That's going to be available. Remember, Delhi, I only get 3 dice for. But everywhere else I get 4. Now I've got 4 in the mountain passes. Ah! That means I drop this to a 4. I've got 2 that cannot be hit. And his hits, I'm not allowed to screen with mine. See? He could screen an attack away, because this is only a 4. It wasn't dropped to a 1. So we'll do that. And now we'd be losing 1 to 2. What happens here? We're going to charge so that both sides take 2 losses. There's 2 invaders left. That's going to lose me $2. And I have to lose 2 pieces off the board, in addition to what I lost. Two pieces off the board. I can't screen these because they're 1s. 2 pieces off the board. Well, we got a lot here. We'll lose some of them. Perfect. All right. I draw another card. The Hare and the Hounds. These should be like this. I forgot to rearrange them on the last regular card. The Hare and the Hounds. So that's going to go yellow first. It says stay eligible. Identical empire origin stories lean on regional cult mythologies. Okay, that's going to be +1 for blues influence, -1 for the sun influence, which, what is this or? Yeah, I think you can choose either direction here. And it's a stay eligible. And boop, boop, may replace up to 2 Rajas or Amirs with 2 Rajas or Amirs. This is a very appealing card. I'm going to put all my dice on it because I need to take a break. It's about time for me to do the unnameable thing, just to keep people from complaining that I'm doing it. Yeah, no, I'm going to go play some Raid. And I'll think about this a little bit, but I think it's pretty clear he wants to do this. And that's going to change the power factor in the Deccan, give me advantages, and keep me eligible. So that's a very powerful combination. As long as I choose the event. If I didn't choose the event, I can let it pass, because the Bahmani aren't going to get a chance to do it. What might Delhi do? Persian values inherited from Delhi. That would hurt both in terms of Deccan influence. So that's not too hot. I definitely need to take this space to get the event, and I think the event's worth doing. Yeah, after a lot of my addiction and other bad behavior online, I'm back to the game. Had a few hours sleep in there. It's gonna be getting on 5 in the morning or so. I don't know. I'm very tired, but I need to stay awake a little bit because I've been getting up in the morning, which it's Friday. That doesn't work for me. All right, so to this card, we got the order right here, and yellow wanted to take the event only, staying eligible. Can't do both. And identical empire origin stories lean on regional cult mythologies. All right, if I'm yellow, I can choose a +1 here. And a -1 on him. I haven't been tracking victory points. I actually have one for that status, for what it's worth. And I can replace up to 2 Rajas or Amirs with 2 of mine. Well, where do I want to expand? I could drop stuff just about anywhere. The power base down here, though, is a little safer than in other places. However, I think I'm going to try expanding up. It's not clear to me where the advantages are, but I feel like getting more territorial area is of value. So we're going to grab those. And the only other player who gets to go is this guy. And he has choices between the command and decree. Well, campaign allows me to move a whole bunch of forces. Demand obedience allows me to retake an area that I have control. This may be worth it to grab this. But I can do this in multiple provinces. And I'd have to get a governor over there. So I think doing just a limited command might make sense. Conscript. How do I get myself a Kabbalah? Okay. I have governors in areas with enemies. I think getting a Kabbalah here could be useful. Of course, that's 2 Kabbalahs. That can be a lot of support going into there. I don't think that's terrible. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I will govern, because there is a governor there. So I can instead place a Kabbalah and or remove up to 2 obedient units. So I'll spend $1. I get this here, and these obedient guys go away. This is the danger. Like, obedient guys can be gotten rid of by governors just removing them like this, whereas the rebellious can be actually attacked. And now we reset. He's there too. How about that? And the next card. The next card is an uprising in Daulatabad, which sounds like it's going to be over to the west. All right. Stay eligible if you just do the event. Delhi resentment reaches breaking point. Replace any governors adjacent to Devagiri with rebelling emirs and remove a tributary market in one affected province. Okay, it's not over here. So now we keep looking. Okay, I don't find it anywhere. Devagiri. Okay, Devagiri, I bet you it's going to be a city. There it is. Okay. So I could replace any governors adjacent with revolting emirs. This looks really good to me. And remove a tributary marker from an affected province also sounds good. Okay. So we go to an event which we get to stay eligible for. 2 governors are going away, here and here. We get revolting emirs for those. Oh, this one too. How about that? This is Devagiri, boom, boom. This as well. another revolting emir, and remove a tributary marker in one affected province. Okay, now this is where it's hard, is where do I want to change the nature of things? So the fact that I have a revolting emir here means all of these units can be attacked by the attack function. That's not good. To me, that means I probably want to make it in the strongest area I can. And you see, these are almost invisible. I feel like if my hands were steady and whatnot, I would go in and I would draw an outline around them with a Sharpie. But they are not right now. Okay, what happens if I remove the tributary? Well, control would immediately revert. And in either of these locations, control would, not only would the tributary go away, but control would flip away. So that's of some importance. Both are worth 2. One is right next to Delhi, which is kind of dangerous, but the other is right next to this mass of forces. This one would create one unit. I think these units will flip to revolting. I'm not absolutely certain. Emirs and Rajas are always either obedient, certain actions flip them from one, or may require them. Emirs and Rajas are always rebelling in a province controlled. Yeah, so if I did it to either of these, the province would revolt and I would end up having control of it. I am going to do it here. We're going to remove the tributary. That's 2 points off him. I gain this. And now I got to look at my victory points, which there's one of these for each player. My victory points: controlling provinces, controlled prosperity plus forts plus the thing. So now I'm at 2 victory points. Okay. What is his? His is total tributary, Timur's invasion aftermath. Yeah. Oh, everybody's is on there. Okay. I'm upside down, so I don't do that. Nobody else can take the event, though. And that means that the Sultanate gets to go. Now, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Huh? Oh, we have a fair amount of resources. Attack. So we could attack this with up to 2 units from here. That makes our dice very dicey. And we're also outnumbered, we're actually outnumbered cav-wise. So we don't want to just attack. Campaign allows me to move a whole bunch of units across the board. I don't have a lot of units that I want to hit everywhere. Demand obedience in each controlled province with a governor. So I could gain control. Well, no, I don't have a governor there. Jeez, I've been weakened heavily. What do my governors do? Governors allow me to place a governor. or if the place already contains a governor, may instead place a Kasbah and remove obedient units. I don't know. I gotta think a little bit about this. The issues with the coin type games with this is that I feel like every action is basically so important. You can't just pass anything by. It's all vital to the story. Now, unfortunately, and that's kind of like with a Euro where, you know, I don't feel like I can see the story because I'm so busy playing the game, is kind of the issue with both sets. I'm so busy trying to figure out how to optimize my points, my score, that I don't really get a great overview of what's going on. Now, as you get more and more familiar with any particular game or whatever, it gets a little easier to see a storyline through it. But for me, like with Euros, these things generally tend to be, I'm taking this action, and all about the puzzling about what I'm trying to do and everything. Which doesn't make for great video, to be honest. And it shines a light on the interesting decisions, but that's all the game is about then. Right? If you're so focused on interesting decisions, you get away from story. This is not under his control. Give me those points back. The reason it's not is there's 3 yellow pieces in there and 3 blue pieces. And that ends up even. Just notice that. Tributaries are different. Those will never break until they break. What that means is 2 of these are face down. I'm having a hard time coming up with a good attack process. So what I think I'm going to do is a limited command, actually. Doing a march that'll be into this space. I don't really need it there. And that cost me 1 to pay, right? That just cost me 1. And then I could send up to 2 units from here. So I'm going to go in with these 3. I don't really like sending this out of there. Let's send another one here. 4, 5. If I sent 2 more units in, I could get control of this, but I don't really see much value to that. And I'm just going to go with that. The main thing is, this is what I want to collect my forces somewhere, but I also didn't really see much value in doing any of the decrees because I'm not going to have control and I can't actually fight. Now, I could have done a campaign up to 4 spaces long. Would this work? Say I came from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I did a campaign as my action, then I could do attacks. And start wiping stuff out. That might make sense. Okay, let's do, that was the campaign, moving those units in a big arc around to here. And now I can do attacks. And let's assign the attacks instead. These are going to cost 1 each. 1, 2, 3. We'll assign these extra forces there that are adjacent. I think that's the only attacks I can make. So that cost me 3 more bucks. Resources are dropping fast. here, what do we want to hit? Hard to tell. Well, we can only hit these, because these guys are loyalists. So, I get my 4 dice. He gets his 2. We both have Cav. I got the Cav disadvantage right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces involved in this battle. 6s can't win. I can hit 3 of his pieces if I okay, he's going to be hitting 1 of mine. I don't want him hitting any of mine. So I am going to screen his hit. He may screen my hits though. He'll screen 2 of mine. Can't do anything about the 1. So I end up taking 1 of his out. He's going to make it the rebellious one. This is now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 5. These guys stay where they are. They don't do anything. All this Cav goes away. Any other effects to attacking? Ah, all of these are rebelling now. Apes. So it didn't matter. Okay. And yeah, I'm struggling. This happens in the coin games too, where you struggle with so much of the rules is based on and how to utilize them is just based on what your little menu options are, right? So I did that attack, but I got more. Let's go to Delhi. Looks like I have 1 hit. He has none, but he has a Mongol who could charge, but he can't get it down to 2, or he can't get it down to 1. So we hit a Mongol. And same thing here. Both armies have okay, we got a couple of hits here, and the Mongols got none. So we drive them out here too. And we did a pretty good job actually this turn, I would say. And that puts us on the yellows, who at best can do a limited campaign. I'm low on cash. It might be worth taking a buck. A limited command, sorry. Tax is what I'd like to do, but I don't get money for taxing. So we're just taking a buck? It seems so crappy, but I'm low on money. What if I rally? I would get, let's say I did Karnataka. I would get 1, 2, I would get 2 of these dudes for a buck, or I could get a buck. I think I'll pass and take the buck. I'm just not convinced that I want to do anything. Like, I'm not convinced that doing anything is good. So the Sultanate goes inactive. These come here. The Mongols are always available. I should just have their thing there for ease. We got a card coming. And the Virupaksha Temple. Okay. Yellow goes before blue. The temple to Shiva merges regional goddess cults. +1 for the VJ. And they may build then in each province with a temple, may replace a unit with a Raja. Of course, that means any unit. Symbols of sovereignty destroy. Now this one is not. So this one had a stay relevant or whatever. This one does not. Any faction may place up to 4 of its units in any one province containing a temple. Remove the temple and take up to $2 from the poor VJs. There are no temples, so I'm at no risk. However, being able to build, may build in each province with a temple. Wait, may build. Okay, so I would get 1 temple. I'm having trouble building. I don't have much money. I don't have many actions. I am going to take the event here just because I don't know what else to do. We're going to build a temple in Karnataka. We got one of this. That gets me some of these. Then in each province with a temple, may replace a unit with a Raja. You go away and you become a Raja. Raja, Raja. Okay. And that means we have the option to blow our turn on a command and decree, or do a limited command, or grab a buck. We have no forts. We can't conspire yet. Well, actually we could. That's actually kind of powerful. Except there aren't many governors, but we could hit here and here and get emirs in both of them. I'm kind of unhappy with what's going on there. Rally would get us 1, 2 emirs, which doesn't really give us the kind of power we want. These guys are just asking for it because they're in rebellion. So maybe are these? No, they're not shiny. Yeah, it's really hard to tell. But these are. I mean, it is. You really have to zoom in, and with the camera, you're catching, a sparkliness that is barely visible. That's about all that there is. They're just like invisible. I think it's supposed to be like a silver moon or something. But I mean, this is too. It's just whatever print they used for these. It's not visible. Okay. Is there a decree we'd like to do? Placing a fort. That would be nice. What does a fort fucking do for us? We can't remember. Right? We got decent amounts of money. We lost our horses, though, which is one reason to trade. But any decree we do blows us as to what we can do. I don't know. I hate this. Migrate. So I could do a migrate command to make myself obedient, which might not be so terrible, because there's a fair-sized army down here. And this butthead's not revolting or anything. He's been fucking with me. Oh, Jesus, I just don't know. If I migrate, Up to 3 emirs from adjacent provinces. So like I could migrate from here to say down here, or up here, and get a bunch of them out of there and back to being quiet. But that seems like I'm just punting the ball around. The fuck does a fort do? Yeah. A fort would increase my defensive capabilities. So a build action is not terrible. What if I do a rally? Yeah. All right, let's build up our forces. Let us do a rally first. We're going to build a fort here. Don't worry about that. But the rally action is anywhere where we have pieces. Well, we definitely want to do it here. Place up to 1 emir, 1 of Maharashtra, nothing for a fort, 1 for control. Okay, let's build our fort first. Let's just do that. Get that out of the way. And we'll count what we're going to do. That's dangerous. The governor could just replace us. This looks like a decent place. This is a decent place. We could get attacked here. That's no fun. I think... What about Karnataka? Do we want to throw an extra piece there for a buck? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So we'll spend 1, 2, 3, 4 bucks. And we get, in Karnataka, 2 emirs. And these are not rebelling yet. They will be if they're attacked. Yeah, we're building all our emirs. Okay. All right. We'll try that. That's going to reset this. Only the Sultanate will be going. We look at this. Zenith of the Delhi Sultanate. Power struggle in Delhi. Flip the dynasty card to the Tughlaq side. The rebel command is now available. There we go. That's going to last. Okay. The Sultanate reopposes dominance. They can campaign using only Delhi and provinces, not Mongol invasion regions. I don't know what that means. I think it means a single action of selecting a route 4 spaces long, but I can't play up here at all. Do I want to be here? That's a big question. Make campaign. I don't trust my governor. So if I pick up like this, and I move 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 like that into a tributary, I can convert a couple of these later maybe. I'm leaving a couple here. That doesn't seem too bad. A range up to 4 spaces long. I could have put some here, or I could pass through there. So 1, 2. Kind of don't want to give him control. And right now leaving 2 units there takes him out of control. What about taking this out, though, and moving it up here with these? Because if I come through here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can do that. All right, that's, I don't know, I don't know how good it is. Military labor market thrives. Blue gains a horsey equal to the number of control plus forts. That is going to be 1 horsey, because all I have is a fort. Okay. Temple towns emerge anew. He gains a buck equal to however much control he has, which is none, plus temples, which is 1. The demise of the Alauddin Khaliji invites a succession crisis, and a popular commander, Ghiyath al-Din Tughlaq, sweeps into a weakened Delhi to take power. Formidable early campaigns into the Deccan aim to reestablish the Sultanate's domination, but the new Sultan meets an untimely fate. Under suspicious circumstances, the prince ascends the throne as Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq. While the Sultanate nears the peak of its power and extent, economic woes and turmoil in Delhi will open the door to unchallenged rebellions in the south. Yeah, honestly, I feel like I was ahead when the game started. So this is gone. This event has taken place, and that is the end of the first deck. I'm going to swap batteries, flip that next card, but then I'm going to load this up, because after that, we're in the second deck, essentially. And remember, these are all completely random. There's just a certain distribution of Mongol invasions that happens. And the final deck, instead of Mongol invasions, has the Timurid attacks. And the only thing that's pre-programmed is these, which sit in between the first and second and third and fourth decks. There's 3 of those pre-programmed events that happen. It's an interesting idea. It certainly allows for more variance, but it wouldn't work as well with some games that really need to be able to define their events as to particular periods of the game. First card, which is only going to be available to the Sultanate because these guys both went, is going to be a stay eligible. Sultan's mercenary army victorious, they can attack in mountain passes or Punjab for free, then rearrange up to 6 of their units among mountain passes, Punjab, and 1 other space. I don't know how much that's going to help me, because I've already driven a lot of the Mongols out. Yeah, I have the mountain passes. I might be better off just, consolidating using normal actions instead of, even though that event's free, which is a big hit, I'm outnumbered at this point. I'm not in a position to really fight him in the mountain passes as well as I'd like. So, yeah, I probably will not do that. Okay, up this goes. First period done. I haven't looked at my victory points. So, he's got a fort. That's worth a point. He's got a temple. That's worth a point. Neither one has control of anything. His control, he was at 18 points, and he's lost 3, 15. I think I've got that right as well. So I think everything is correct. I just wish I could see these fuckers. Yeah, that's really a horrible, horrible design decision. You'd think, see, I don't know what goes into, and especially the capability to make these wooden pieces and everything. If you're dealing with something like Game Crafter, right? You get components and you can order a copy of the game right away. They make it for you. They send it to you. It'll be the same as any other copy that they make. And you can see, yeah, those components don't really work. Let's try this, and you can just order those components to see how well they work or whatever, and kind of so you're not just proofing them from a picture or whatever. Here, I'm sure they asked to have this printed with a sparkly white silver color or something, but very obviously they didn't get some kind of initial I don't think they got like a proof copy that gave them the exact view. And so, if you have to tool up, although the change in the coloring choices, like, hey, this really shouldn't be that color, that just doesn't show up on the blue, that should have been cheaper to fix than the stamping or whatever. And to tell you the truth, they've been stamping little crescents on things for a while. So whatever that is already exists. But yeah, it's just it's a bad color choice, and maybe the second edition will fix that. I saw that they're beginning to do a second edition production. I just really not thrilled with what this has turned out to be, and in terms of the visibility of the piece. Anyway, the play itself, yeah, it's cumbersome. It feels like a Euro when you're playing it because you're being faced with too many fucking interesting decisions, and you gotta struggle with them, struggle with the charts and everything. As you get more and more used to any particular coin game, the choices that you make become easier. But man, it's a high burden per game, right? And this has the same. It's a close enough mechanism with you got a couple of choices of actions to take, and you're comparing it to the event. I don't mind the event. The event I figure out each time, but it's that, what are my baseline choices? Those are really what should be driving my strategy and whatnot. And I don't really have one for anyone. And that's often the problem when I face a coin game for the first time. And then I don't go back to them again. Like, look, I got to play Andean Abyss and A Distant Pain a few times each, even though I don't have the latter. But most of them I play once and I'm like, okay. And if you don't play it soon, it's like each one has a different flavor of little patterns that you can pick. And it's very clever, but it's not conducive to first-time play or very, very sporadic play. Might be okay to mix and match. Something like, again, Andean Abyss and A Distant Plane are similar enough. But when you start hitting things like Falling Sky and Pendragon and stuff like that, man, they're getting weirder and weirder, And again, this one is again different from the others. The turns in this are like 5 years each. I don't know. Anyway, just giving a feel for what the struggle with these are is that, yeah, if you really like coin games, like say I like 18xx games, I think you could maintain a fair number of them in your repository of your brain and be able to play them again and again without struggling. But I find myself struggling every time I play because I'm having to figure out, what I'm trying to do and why in a way that it doesn't feel like it's the same. So, I compare it, I don't know, you compare it to a game like Junta, which got mentioned because somebody saw a bug on it. They claimed it was a roach, but I don't believe them. But I'm also thinking some of these other what was I thinking here? The China in Disarray, I gotta have that. Warlords here. Just a bunch of these games are, sort of area control games, or Britannia. So Britannia is kind of weird because knowing, and the games like it, knowing the point values you're going to get for everything, that's a big hurdle. And you do have to kind of be familiar with it in the same sort of way. But you can play pretty naively because the opportunism is very clear. Look, I want to get these points in this turn. I want to get these points in this turn as you look at things. Playing effectively requires a little bit more knowledge of the game. But here, I don't really feel like I quite understand what I'm trying to do to build up my position, to build up my engine for these little kingdoms to work, right? And even to prevent them as the Sultanate, it's not really clear what I want to do because I don't know what they're trying to do or why, I feel like I'm just blundering with picks and testing things out. And with most more conventional designs, pre-coin, say, I feel like there was a fair idea of, I want to do this. And you can make the same argument with the levy and campaign. To some extent, you got kind of this point salad type thing going on. And you're like, well, I'm not sure which is the productive way to do things. And after you play a couple of them, you get a pretty good feel, I think, for how the points generate. Of course, the North Italian one was a little different from everything else in certain ways. So I don't know. It just feels like the more modern designs are creating mechanisms that obfuscate what you want to do in a very similar way that the more modern Euros are trying to obfuscate what you even want to do. So your first playthrough is kind of I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to do here, man. What's my aim? What's my goal? And it really does feel like that is an aspect of all modern games, all modern game design things. They're increasing the cycle of decisions you have to make the decisions not as clear cut. So you're not like, I want to push forward here or something. And, make it hard to determine what you need to do to even be trying to achieve victory. Not so much what strategy do you need to accomplish to get you there. That's another layer. That's a layer beyond trying to figure out how to be effective at all in the game, right? And it probably makes the games a little bit more complex and may make them deeper overall in terms of strategy. But I feel like that's actually not the case. Like when I start digging into these more modern games, once you get past that level of obfuscation, you're lucky if there's as much real game. Now, I think with the coin games, there's as much real game, and with the levy and campaign, there's as much real game as there was in the older style games. Once you get past the, hey, what does this action mean if I try to do it? I don't really feel that so much with some of the more modern Euros. I feel like, the whole game was trying to figure out how to even operate the system at all. And once you have that, there's not a hell of a lot left in terms of strategy. Of course, for non-war games and stuff, and for a lot of games that were out there, there was basically no strategy. So it's okay, what's the strategy in Monopoly? There's not a hell of a lot. But if you add a layer of obfuscation on top of that, it makes it seem more interesting, right? I guess. I don't know. All right, up it goes.